Welcome back to the Purple Rain podcast. We're a bit all knackered. I mean, how long did that track go on for? Actually, yeah, 6 hours. 6 hours! And then you had to go through, after I said get ready for bed, just like, oh my god. There were times when it got towards the lower end where I was thinking, oh my god, I'm not going to stay awake. And yet it was still the exact same amount of rounds as last year, but of course 4 extra teams. Anyway, the draft is done! The draft is done. You guys now know what that means. Off season. No! We don't want it! Don't want it! No, there's too much excitement! Yeah. There's too much excitement still to come. Yeah. Because there's loads of stuff still to come, like, you know, jerseys, not just big expansion teams, also Seattle and Vancouver. Because obviously they're expected to get, because obviously Seattle and Vancouver are expected to get these kind of jerseys next year. Got that. Got to wait to see if the brands will get revealed for 6 expansion teams before the start of the season. Got Worlds to look forward to. Starting November the 6th. And all that. Personnel, any news on that? They mentioned size of free agency. So there's still a lot to come as we enter the long off season. But anyway, let's not think about that right now. Let's not think about that right now. Today we are here to give you your annual recap on the PWHL Entry Draft, which of course was held in Detroit for the very first time. Oh boy, are they ready? Oh yeah, they are ready to enter our league. I did wonder how you got to top Ottawa last year because the Charge fans, they were so passionate. I think Detroit was robbing for that Charge Avenue. They really did. They were just so loud. It was hard to hear Kenzie, Shaw, and Becky at one point. And Rob is like, they're so loud. It's like, whoa. Okay, like, whoa. But, yeah, so really great work there, Detroit. The Fox Bay, you can just feel the energy in that building. It was just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Okay. So here's how it's going to work. So obviously we're doing it a little bit differently than we've done in past years. We're doing a new format. We're going to have these helping to take to the future. So we're going to kick off by going through the highlights of the draft that took place on June 17. Okay. We're going to start that first. We'll go through the highlights. Then we will take you through the first round in full. And then after that, we will go through all the picks made by our Minister of Frost. You don't want to do San Jose as well, because technically you have got an affiliation to San Jose as well. I'll see how I feel. Okay. Let's do the first 2 segments first, and I'll see how I feel after that. Okay? Okay, yeah. Because technically, of course, I am now a dual affiliation. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, so it's going to be busy. Lots to get through. A really great night of Worlds. That draft class is so stacked. One of the most stacked we've ever seen, and probably will for quite some time. Yeah, just great. I mean, what a great night! What absolutely great night. So let's just get dive in. Just dive straight in. Yeah. Right. Okay. Right. Take the opportunity to go and get yourself some drinks and all that, and then we'll get going when we come right back. Right. Okay. So to start off, we're gonna go through the highlights of the why am I keep saying last night? It's like mine's not. Honestly, it was so exhausting. It's like because technically this episode's not being published the day after the draft, so why am I still saying last night as it was last night? Well, some bits of this show, of this episode, we are doing the day after, some we're not. So, yeah. So it's just a yeah. So anyway, yeah. So we carry on. Okay. Right. So we'll go through the highlights, of the draft in Detroit. There we go. That's how I refer to it. There we go. That's how I refer to it. Okay. So let me get it loaded up. Okay. So we're going to take you now through some of the highlights from the draft. So let's go to that, shall we? Okay, here we go. So here's some of the big draft notes from last night. So KK, yeah, we will get to that when we talk about all the first round as a full Pluto. But yeah, you are just. Where's my dunking order? We don't have them in the UK. Well, I feel like I'm owed one. Oh, God. I would say I would get you some of those sugary donuts tomorrow from Tesco's, but the problem is, they're like my cookies, you have to eat them all in one go. Not really can handle that. Not gonna handle that. So Harvey was the first defender to be selected first overall in a PWHL Entry Draft. Abby Murphy was the first forward to be selected going second overall in draft. PWHL Las Vegas was the only team with 2 first-round picks. Selected forward Tessa Jarky, third overall, which originally was Detroit's pick, and then with their actual first-round picks, that was the 5th overall pick. They went with Lacey Eden, 5th overall, and they led the draft with 8 picks in total. PWHL San Jose used its first pick to select forward Layla Edwards. That's 4th overall. PWHL Hamilton selected defender Nelly Leitonen with their first ever pick, making the Finnish rearguard the first international player chosen at 6th overall. PWHL Detroit used its first pick to select Switzerland's Andrea Brandili. That was what you loved the most. Yeah. Should we talk about now? Because obviously Detroit's not got a first round pick. Right. So, to me, if you checked out the Olympic Hockey Show, particularly we focused more after the games, I could not sing Andrea Brandili's praises enough. I kind of felt that for me, she was the big reason that Switzerland, A, got in to the semi-finals, and then B, had a chance to win a medal. Okay? Andrea Brandili kept Switzerland in a lot of its games in La Cortina. She was a huge factor to why Switzerland got the bronze. And I kind of felt, if this player, because obviously we didn't know at the time or not, what we're going to do, I thought for me, if this player declares for the draft, she's going to be a huge impact to whichever team gets them. And I kind of thought Detroit, what a brilliant. Because obviously Detroit didn't have a first round pick because of the trade they made with Baker to get Henry Knight. Okay? So Detroit had to wait till the second round to get its first go on the clock. Oh boy, did Detroit utilise that. And I think you've now got your starting netminder. You have now got, whatever moves you make in free agency, I feel Detroit, you have now got your starting netminder for your first of the season. So I'm so glad Andrea Brandili has entered to the league. I'm so glad she's going to have an opportunity to be a starting netminder overall. Because I think she's not a backstop. She's a starter. So I think that's great. So that's really good for Detroit there. Yeah, love that. Yeah. So you said Steele's chosen 15th overall. 3 Michiganders were selected in front of the home crowd, including forward Kirsten Sims at 8th overall to the Toronto Raptors, defender Casey Bergenov at 22nd overall to PWHL Detroit, and forward Elisa Boderman at 30th overall to PWHL Hamilton. You just knew Detroit was going to take someone from Michigan! Yeah. I thought it'd be a very strange night if Detroit didn't take at least one Michiganer. Yeah. Just saying. Yeah. Just saying. Yeah. So you just knew that was going to happen at some point. Yeah. You just knew. You just knew it's going to happen. The first Canadian selection up in the draft was defender Sarah Swiderski, who was taken 9th overall by our Minnesota Frost. She was our first pick of the night. The 32 players selected in the 6th round draft included 42 forwards, 22 defenders, and 8 goaltenders. Per hometowns, the draft class is represented across 8 different countries. 31 from the USA, 30 from Canada, 4 from Finland, 2 from Switzerland, 2 from Sweden, 1 from Czechia, 1 from Denmark, and 1 from Russia. 14 players competed in the 2026 Olympics in Belo Cortina, representing 5 countries. Americans Edwards, Harvey, Jackie, Murphy, and Sims. Finland's Leitinen. Hopnainen, Niemainen, and Badnika. Sweden's Borbenot and Johansson. Switzerland's Brandini and Mora. Italy's Durane. A total of 59 players were selected from NCAA programs, 11 from professional teams, and 2 from U Sports. The 59 NCAA players represent 19 programs, 7 from Penn State, 5 from Cornell, 5 from Ohio State, 5 from Minnesota, 5 from Wisconsin, 4 from Northeastern, 4 from Minnesota Duluth, 4 from Yale, 3 from Colgate, 3 from Princeton, 3 from University of Connecticut, 2 from Boston University, 2 from Clarkson, 2 from Quinnipiac, 1 from Brown, 1 from Minnesota State, 1 from Providence College, 1 from St. Cloud State, and 1 from St. Lawrence University. We have got to get Take-A-Tour games in Wisconsin and Ohio next season! Nah, come on! They're basically breeding factories of future PHL stars! Come on! Come on. The 10 professional players represent 3 league SHL 8, SWHL 1, and ZHHL 1. 2 U Sports players represent Concordia University and the University of British Columbia. A total of 25 players were declared for the draft, representing the largest talent pool of prospects players since the inaugural season. Okay, so those were some of the highlights there. Next up, we're going to look back on the first round as a whole. So we'll do the first round, so the first 12 picks in the whole. We'll go through our thoughts on that. That's kind of why it's kind of important to get Detroit done now, because obviously you guys know Detroit did not have a pick in the first round because they traded that to hit Las Vegas to get Harry Knight. So Las Vegas got 2 picks in the first round. Detroit had none. There's a lot of picks being traded way before the draft got started. So there's a lot of that to cover as well. So yeah. Okay, so that is all the highlights from the draft that we're going to cover on. We're going to take a quick break and we'll come back. We'll go through all the first round picks made in 2026 Entry Draft. Alright, so now we're going to move on and recap the whole of the first round. So brace yourselves, kids. He's already posed! He's got his smug pose! We are never going to hear the end of this. We are never going to hear the end of this. Go on! Go on! I said it! I called it! I said, after Belo Cortina, I said, KK's going first overall. Yeah, but you didn't know who she was going to go first overall 2 at a time. Yeah, you didn't make a case there. But I said she was going first overall. I said it. I said it. Yeah, we know. You were just like, I called it! I called it! I called it! You're like, called it! You just like, you literally like the cat that got the cream. You were like the cat that got the cream. You call it. I mean, seriously, could you pass up an opportunity like that to go play like KK? No. Even though I tried to make a case for, say, potentially Leah Edwards, but really people are like, no. It was always going to be KK going first. Fair dues. Yeah, what was that? And she's going to really help the Goldeneyes growth. I think Vancouver's growth might now accelerate now they've got KK on that roster. Because the Goldeneyes were a team that really this season should have been up there for the World Cup, but didn't work out. So I think she's going to really help. Yeah, I think having KK on the team is going to really help improve their chances of getting playoffs. We'll see how far it goes from there. But yeah, you just basically spend the whole night. You just be like, I called it. I called it. You were smug as fuck. You were smug as fuck. I told you. Told you. Not bad for somebody who was roped in. And that just makes it worse. I know. That just makes it worse. Because me and Lady were committed from day one. Who had to be roped in? He was the last member of the pack to state his case. I didn't, mate. You roped me in. You know? That's just what makes it worse. You were roped in. You weren't committed from the get-go. You have to be roped into this. That's what just makes it worse. Anyway. Now, did even see Owen Murphy going second? No. I mean, interesting. It's an interesting pick to make, because I think we were all expecting Edwards to go next, but you had Murphy, you had Jackie, you also had Sims, you had Eden up there. So, I think it's a good pick for Seattle, but like the broadcast team said, get used to those penalty minutes. Yeah. I know that's so funny when the broadcast team was talking about how old the amount of pen minutes that she's racked up. And that just got me thinking, oh, I hope Toronto can work on their penalty kill, because you're probably going to need it a lot more next season. Work on those jailbreak goals. Yeah, just go for that. Yeah, go for that. Yeah. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, there's been a little bit of sort of, murmurings online. Yeah, some people on social media haven't really had nice things to say about it. I did try to look up what it was, but couldn't really get anywhere. So if anybody does know, let me know in the comments or email the show by pubpodcast.com. The more we know about these players, the better. There were some murmurs about Murphy Root to the draft, so we'll see what happens there. But no, for Seattle, is going to need a player who can really, log in those minutes, really have that aggression. Seattle needs attack going into next season. So I think a player like Murphy's going to really, really give them that attack that they really do need. So I think if you're looking to get more aggressive in Seattle, then I think it's a really good pick. But of course, as we've seen from Britta over the last 2 seasons, there is a fine line between attack and full-on woman-on-woman violence. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, so then Vegas stepped on the third time. Now remember, Detroit originally was supposed to have pick number 3, but they traded to Vegas in exchange for Hearing Eye. We, of course, will cover that as a whole. Because I've got lots of thoughts about that. So we'll do that another time. So Las Vegas went up first. And I felt like these next 2 picks, so picks 3 and 4, I kind of felt like PHL Las Vegas, PHL Las Vegas, basically, we're just playing a game of chicken. As to who's going to get Edwards first. Right, you were kind of saying, when Vegas won the clock, you were kind of like, right, if they don't take Edwards, then, and you turned to Sharky and said this, Zaz's got to do it. Yeah, you basically said, if Las Vegas doesn't take Edwards, then Zaz's got to do it. Yeah, because obviously, Vegas would then have their original first round pick after Zaz. They could have come right back on the clock and could have done what York did last year with Catherine and Bryan. Yeah, take one first and then come straight back on the clock and go for another. Yeah. I honestly wasn't surprised that Jackie got taken further all. I kind of felt, if we're looking at after Harvey and Edwards, who could then go next, I would have thought Jackie would have been a top 3 pick. So Detroit, you might regret, like how Tio's probably going to regret trading a pick away last year that resulted in New York getting Casey O'Brien. Detroit, you might be this time next year thinking, oh, if only we hadn't done that trade, we could have got Jackie and she might have been up for an award. Because I do love this pick. I mean, Tessa Jackie was a huge piece to the puzzle in the World last year. She got that golden goal in OT to give USA the gold over Canada. It was a thrilling match. It was a thrilling match. That was a match as well. So yeah. So I feel Vegas, you've got a really good player here. You've got a really good player, so you should be really pleased with that. So unsurprisingly, at pick number 4, Sarze goes and does it. Gets Leah Edwards, who of course made history this year. First ever player to on the US roster of the black community. Yeah. First ever black player on the USA's roster at the Olympics. Me, I get still stunned by that. Still stunned by that. I mean, seriously, she was the first? Well, hopefully she'll inspire the next generation. Yeah. And who knows, maybe we'll get to defend House to be more on her roster. We'll see. We will see. No, I think it's a really good pick. I think Sarze did so well there. I kind of felt Beggs and Sarze, if we're looking at winners and losers, I think both Beggs and Sarze did really well. I do. I really do. And for expansion, that's really good, because obviously, you've already had, as mentioned already, you've already had your chance in the expansion process to get good stock. That you come into the draft and you basically add on to what you already have. So yeah, I mean, we've all said Hamilton was the big winners in the expansion process. Well, how do we feel now though? Yeah. So yeah, but really great. Obviously, I'm surprised that she's gone 4th, not second. Because obviously I had her going second. After KK, but still really good. A really good for Sarze to get, because I felt Sarze needed a big splash. When she got called, after I was like, whoa! Straight away I was like, and there you go. That's the big splash that Sarze needed. Because so far in expansion process, I felt Sarze hadn't really made any sort of big signings, apart from Rory Gilday from Ottawa and Kristen O'Neill from New York, who of course they used their EFO on. Apart from those two, the rest were kind of like, well, they're good players who you give them a few years will grow and blossom, but for right now, not really. Yeah, so I think for Sarze, to make the most of your first round pick and go for a player that you know is going to make a real big impact, brilliant. So Vegas goes back on the clock and they go for Lacey Eden, who I think was another player that really you should have seen has gone high in the order. Yeah, I think she's kind of sort of slipped through the cracks, because you listen to big guns, you've had obviously KK, so Harvey, Murphy, Jackie, Edwards, Sim also up there, and also Eden. But I agree with that. I do feel like Eden kind of, sort of, slid through the cracks, and people weren't really talking about it as much as they probably should have done. So, 2 big pieces in the first round. You look at the thing, oh my god, Bay, not again with Vegas. Here we go again. Where have I seen this script before? Yep. Where? Oh no, yep. I'm getting a nasty sense of deja vu. Vegas is drafting well. Panic! Deck on one! Yep, sound the sirens. Not yours, BA! Not yours. The other sirens. Yeah. Oh my god, I can't remember what I'm going to say this, but it's never good pick for Vegas! What are you doing to me? I should not be praising Las Vegas, but it's a really rock solid pick! I don't want to say it, but it is! Oh god. Oh god. Right, so Harrison then takes us to halfway, and they went with Nelly Lightning, a Finnish player there, who I bet's thinking, oh, I'd like to get Noah Virus. We'll never know. We'll never know what will happen, Finland. But good work. Of course, he's a defender. So Hamilton's really trying to rock solid its blue light, which I think is good, because we don't know how the expansion is going to fare until you get to start the season. But if they can have a good rock slide defense, I think it's a very good foundation. Yeah. Going into, you know, their local seasons. So I think it's a good pick. Yeah, it's a really good shout. Because obviously after those powerhouses go, you start thinking, right, who do I go for next and all that. Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah, it's a good pick for Hamilton. Yeah. Now, and their first ever. Yeah. Yeah, their first ever pick. Yeah, history belongs to her. Yeah. And Edwards and Doherty. Also Brandini, but of course can't talk about Brandini because he was in round 2, not round 1. Yeah. Because Joy didn't have pick in round 1. Yeah. Right, so then we now move on to the inaugural 16s. So first of those to go was New York, and the Sirens selected Pasha. So you two heard some bit of raucous before the pick was announced. What's some berry? Yeah, I thought I had it. Because I didn't thought, there's a bit of murmuring going on as the pick was being announced. Like, what's going on here? Not another controversial one. But, yeah. But I think, I do like the style of this. I do like the style of this. So, this, yeah, no defender. We saw a lot of defenders go in this first round. Yeah. A lot of teams really felt they need to stack up their blue lines. Yeah. Interesting. What do you think about Pascal? I think she'll do fine. You know, you put her on there with Thea and Brian, and also Kat Ilkova. I think she could do really well. I did. Obviously, I think she could be somebody who could easily replace what they lost with having lost, Kristen O'Neill. Yeah. So I think that's a good selection there. Yeah, I do think it's going to do wonders for New York there. I mean, the Sirens, they know how to draft, they do. They know how to draft, yeah. That's why I said going into Wednesday, that's why I said I'm not worried about New York because the Sirens know how to draft really well. Yeah. So I have no problems with that. So I give them top marks every time. Yep. And then here comes the steal. Here comes the steal. Tio goes on the clock, and looks at, what's this? Kirsten Sims not gone yet. I'm having her. Yeah. It's basically like, basically, with that, it's kind of like, you know, the last big ticket on a seller in the mall. The big, I'm having that. Go! Run! I mean that! Leg it! I mean that! I'm sure those of you regulars for trying to say know what I mean come Black Friday. Last one of the sale! I mean that! I'd never see you run that fast. I hated primary school. I hated primary school PE because a lot of it did involve running around the bloody field. I don't like running, can't run. It's not good. Running's not good for my breathing. It's really not. So the only time you're going to see me run is to get a Mr. Whippy. Yeah, the ice cream, the man trying the ice cream was probably thinking, come on, missus, you can do it! Yeah. But seriously, so low down! 8th overall, what the hell? Yeah. I mean, I can get the first 5 picks, but then surely Hamilton must have thought, right, Nabber! Yeah. Nabber, what were you thinking? Now, I'm not saying that Hamilton made a bad pick, but I'm thinking, if I was Megan Douglas, I'd be, hold on, Kirsten Sims not gone, she's still on the board. Nabber! Yeah, it's like, what the hell? Yeah. It's like last year when Abby Newark, who I had high hopes for being the first round going into last year's Charlotte Ottawa, and then she goes the 5th round, it was like, what is going on here? Yeah. And she proved why she was not a 5th rounder. Yeah! It's like, seriously? What the hell? Oh my god, Gia Casey thinking, thank you! Thank you! Yeah. Because, oh my god, they need that. Absolutely, Tio need a player like Kirsten Sims all day long. Absolutely need her. Yeah, given how badly they've lost the expansion process again. Again! Yeah. It absolutely is. Oh my god. Never mind me being the cat got the cream. It's Sheila Kingsbury. Yeah. Wow. Hey, I did not have a go at 8th overall. What did you have? I don't know. 5th? 6th? Yeah. Because like you, George, I definitely saw Jackie being taken in the top 4. But it should have been... Jack probably should have been maybe the 5th pick. Yeah! So, what? Oh my god. Wow. That is shocking to me. Yeah. That is just, oh my god. But TO fans are thinking, oh, thank the Lord. Thank the gods. Praise the gods. Hallelujah. Right, because they need to win big. They need to win big in this draft. They got it. They got it right there. Yeah. Yeah. I'm expecting us to do good things in TO next year. If TO gets back to the playoffs, we know who to bank. Sims and Kirk. Yeah. Sims and Kirk. Yeah. Because I thought Reagan Kirk was a huge boost to TO this year. So Sims and Kirk. Right. So then we got the board. And what to make of our first pick of the night? Obviously, in a moment, we're going to do them the whole, but so just do quick brief thoughts. Yeah, brief thoughts. So the ninth pick, we went for Sarah Swiderski. So like last year, we go for a defender in our first pick of the night. Being good? Yeah. We don't have a bad one about draft picks, really. No. But yeah, I think it was always going to be tricky. What do we do? Because you have to look at things, okay, do we just treat it as a standard draft, like it was in season 2, and just draft for what we think we need? Or do we treat it like last year's draft and basically try to draft to basically replenish what we lost? And I think we did that more later on in the draft. Yeah. Well, for me, no way would we not go draft a netminder. For me, going into it, I kind of felt at some point in the draft, we're going to have to go for another netminder. So, yeah, because obviously Vegas took Nicole Hensley. Yeah, they broke the tandem. Yeah, so that's going to happen regardless. Yeah. I feel it's good because I think, if we could just prop up that blue line, that would be a huge help. Yeah. I mean, Minnesota is very good with when it comes to blue liners, but I think every little helps. So I think if we can stock up there, that would be really good. Especially if we know that these draft picks, we don't have to worry about them going taken again this time next year by the expansion team. Yeah, so. Yeah, because obviously Kyle Cooper was a good defender last year, and then what happens? She goes to Vegas. Yeah. Very hard for her. Yeah. But I do like the pick. I think it's good. Yeah, go for another defender first, and then you can work what we want to do the rest of the night. Okay, so we're going to Boston now. And with the Fleet, they also went defence. They went for Grace Dwyer. Well, for Boston, you had to. You had no choice. The amount of defence Boston's lost so far already. Their hands were kind of tied what they had to do early in the draft. They had to really go for another defender to just really just strip up blue line. Because yes, you've got Megan Keller back, who won Defender of the Year. Yes, you've got Henny Winslow, who was Rookie of the Year. As well, yeah, but you need to more. That's not enough. No. As we know, that is not enough. You really need to strengthen that blue line. So I think they've done a good work there. Yeah, it's a really good pick. I will see how well she slots with Keller, with Wynn. Would you put her alive with them? I think it all depends on what Francois Miffel wants to do. Because obviously he's going to come in and literally do what he feels best for the team. So he could put them on the line for that, but we'll see. We'll see. I think it's good for Boston to really go recognise, yeah, we lost big in the defence, so let's just pop that bit line. Pop that, yeah. Okay, so then next up is the Charge. Oh, they have a lot of work to do. Again, no defender. Vivian Jungles. We know what her entrance song's gonna be. Pluto, don't sing it! Don't sing. I know what you mean. Don't sing it. Come on, it's supposed to be serious. Oh, so you can do a reaction of Trafford Centre on Black Friday, but I can't sing a song? No. My show, my rules. You should know that by now. I mean, how else has to be done? How else has to be done now? You should know that by now. It's my rule. Shows my rules. Oh, it's so hard to work out with them because obviously, you know, they basically just let themselves get poked with a pinata stick. It's like whack and see how many Cadbury Dairy Milks come out. You do not stick Cadbury Dairy Milks into a pinata, George. How would I know? I've never been involved with one. I've never been involved with a pinata. I was in year 6. Well, I must have fallen ill on that day. Oh, yeah. I was put through the walls in my 5-year primary school. I was off sick quite a few times and also had a bloody head. Yeah, so basically, kids, if your parents say to you, you can't be killed by stationery, they're lying bastards. Yep. Because George got hit by a projectile pencil. Blood everywhere in the back of my head. I got a break. And I learned I got a break in school. I was about, what, 11, 12 at the time? 12. There you go. That is not something you want to learn at primary school age, that you've got a very thin skull which can break easily. Could have been worse. It could have been a stapler. Oh, don't. Could have been a stapler. Could have been what worse? Yes, because if it was a stapler, I would have been dead. Anyway, so lady, bring it back to bring the shit back to tranquility. Okay, for Orwa, you're thinking, right, you've lost Gilday by choice, you've lost Jenna by choice, you've lost Clark by choice. You're going to need to seriously have a strong defense to protect Gwyneth at all costs. Because we know what a brilliant netminder Gwyneth is. But she's going to need some serious support next year. Serious support. Because Orwa, what the fuck? Go to the camera, lady. Also, throughout the expansion process, what the fuck were you playing at? Yeah. What the fuck? Yeah. Nobody chooses to injure themselves willingly unless they want to go on SAS Who Dares Wins. But literally, it was like, oh my bloody god, because we called it! We called it. And there is going to be an episode, by the way, coming up. We're going to look at the losses that each team made in the expansion process. And out of her, get ready to go full on Will and Grace on ya. He's rubbing up as we speak! We told you. We told you. So I think if you're looking to try and build up that strong defense, you're going to need a good pick. Did you need a better pick there? I don't know. Jury's still out. Okay. And finally, it's our World Cup champions, the Victoire. They decided to go with a forward in Petra Nealon, which I don't think is a bad pick, because obviously, you know, the Victoire, they know they've got Stacey back, they know they've got Pelham back, they know they've now got Rock back, which is big for them, because Rock was probably somebody who could have easily gone the expansion process but didn't. So I think the Victoire, maybe it's working those forward centres, isn't it? Yeah, I think your blue line, you're fine. You just need to work out the depth, because you need to keep, because a lot of that depth scoring that Montreal had this year is now gone. So I think Montreal, just build on that strong depth that you had this year that got you alright. We all know the thing that the Victoire were lacking was depth scoring. Yep. Yeah, we said it. The broadcasters said it for the entire season. Yeah, depth scoring was what the Victoire were lacking. They found it this year, and that's what helped get them over the line. So to all you future World Cup finalists out there, if you want to win the cup, you need to have that depth scoring, because that's what's going to really help you get over the line. We had it in our 2 years in winning the cup. Montreal in their year win the cup this year. So if you want to be a World Cup champion, you need to have good depth scoring that can step up in those big moments like the World Cup finals. I mean, Abby Rock really should be a contender for MVP, Laura Flaherty. Just saying. Yeah, I mean, that's good. I mean, it's a really good pick for 12, so I'm really good for them. Yeah, good pick. Yeah. Right. Okay, so that is just a quick recap on all of the picks made in the first round. When we come back, we're going to look in depth at the our Minnesota Frost picks made in the draft, and we'll see from there. We've been very impressed so far over the last years with how he's done the draft. Let's see if we can make it 4 for 4. Let's see if we can make it 4 for 4. Let's find out in a moment. Alright, now we're going to run you through all the draft picks made by our Minnesota Frost in the 2026 PWHL Entry Draft in Troy. How are you feeling, guys? You know, 4th year, 4th draft. How do you feel? Are we still having that same feeling? You know, we did a good job? I think we did okay. Yeah. I mean, you know, I kind of felt like I had the same feeling I had last year, where we kind of drafted really well. Yeah. And I think I'm curious to see how they're going to gel with the roster, especially, you know, our expansion losses this year were a lot more bigger than they were last year. Yeah. So I feel okay. And I kind of felt that we really did what we needed to do, which was go in there, work out what holes do we need to plug, and plug them, especially the net micro. Yeah. So I think for me, the big question going into the draft was, do we look at the net mines available and take one of those, or do we maybe hold out our luck and try to entice someone during free agency, like maybe, I don't know, Elaine Chuley, for example? Yeah, because I think she would be a very good backstop if we could. Yeah. So yeah, that's a big question, and we got answered. Yeah, pretty well. Yeah. So all 6 of our draft picks were made. No trades involved for your Minnesota Frost. Although I don't think any of the 4 drafts we've been involved, we've ever done trades, have we? Not to my memory, no. No. Right, so we can just move on. Yeah, just crack on. Straight away. Down to business. Yeah, and go through all the draft picks. So we already, of course, went through our first round draft pick back when we recapped the first round. Which was actually the previous segment. Yeah. But we'll just go through it again. Yeah, we'll go through it again. Now we're going to go through all of them. Okay. I think at the end, I'll give you a brief thought about how I felt about Saze, because Pluto just said, do we want to do Saze as well? Because obviously I do have affiliation with them. I'll just do a brief overall thought at the end. I'll do that at the end. Okay. Okay, so in round 1, with the 9th overall pick, we selected Sarah Swiderski, defender, Ohio State University. We already talked about how we felt it was a good... Yeah, I think we felt, you know, we need to really, you know, prop up that blue line. You know, you lose Cooper, who was a good pick for us last year. Our first round pick last year was a really good pick. So Swiderski comes in. I think she could do really well. I think she could slot in quite nicely. Yeah, I think, you know, get that defender in. Everyone in that first round kind of felt needs to go defense. So everyone kind of felt the blue lines need to be propped up. So I kind of supported that. I think it was a very good pick in my eyes. Yeah. Okay. Then in round 2, the 21st overall pick, we took Bibi Vanikoka, forward. Brinas Pub. Okay. So forward there, I could help maybe, you know, slot in quite nicely, you know, get some more attack. Yeah, obviously. I feel, yeah, good pick there. You want to make me kind of, not really, no. It's kind of hard when you have a perennial cup contender like Minnesota. What do you need to draft to really build on the previous year? I mean, yeah, everyone look up, well, you didn't make it to the finals this year, but we still had a really competitive run. Yeah. It was only the last month of the regular season where it all kind of fell apart. Yeah. But by that point, we had done enough to lock in that playoff spot, yeah, and not to worry about, oh, are we not? Yeah, like in previous years. Yeah. as we saw in this year's playoffs, a lot of trends got booked. Montreal booked the trend about higher seed not winning. We booked our trend about not being the 4th seed, which and also not having to qualify on the last day. So yeah, a lot of trends got booked in those places, but I can see what players kind of mean there. Right, so in round 3, with the 33rd overall pick, we selected Maddie Christian, forward, Penn State. And she's a Minnesota native! Hooray! She's a Minnesota native! Elk River, Minnesota. Yeah, number one. Isn't it always good when you can draft, you know, a hometown native? Yeah. Or someone who's been in your team's programs. Because obviously, you know, Matt Constantini, he was with the Junior Sharks, and then obviously 24 we get to draft him, which is really good. So yeah, it's kind of a good feel when you get to draft somebody who has been with your program or has been, you know, in your hometown for so long. So that's really good there. So another Minnesota native, which is really good. So yeah, I do expect some very big things from her next season. It'd be interesting to see what line she slots into and see where. So obviously she needs to get used to the fact that technically he loves to shuffle the lines. Even if we're on a hot streak, he loves to shuffle those lines. So interesting to see how she goes on. And I think that's a really good thing for us, you know, because you know you have to be prepared for everything in this league. It's a very short season. You have to be prepared for what happens. You have to be prepared to take the next step, and or switch positions if needs be. And I think she'll do this fine now. It's a really good pick. Good pick to go with right now. Okay. So then in round 4, we took, with the 45th overall pick, we took Tora Henderson, defender, University of Minnesota Duluth. But she's not a native. Oh, yeah. Oh, half there. So 50-50 there, but it's fine. Yeah, so here again, you know, trying to strengthen that blue line, given how it's been more severely damaged. You know, we lose May Baptison, we lose Carol Cooper, we lose Abby Hustler. So I think, you know, really good, you know, here to strengthen that blue line up as a whole. Yeah, I can really see that's what this because we're doing is try strengthen the blue line. Because we've lost big this time around compared to last year's expansion process. Yeah. So I kind of put more of an emphasis to really, you know, bolster that blue line, because that was the big thing that everyone talked about last year. Yeah, it was so annoying during the whole free agency, not after we got through the expansion draft, and everyone saw what we did in the entry draft. People still kept, in the summer, they still kept banging on about, you know, what's Minnesota's blue line going to be now? They've lost Claire Thompson and Sophie Jakes. But you know what? It was just fine. The blue line was fine. The blue line managed. Okay? You still saw a really competitive roster. And I am still confident we're going to see a really competitive roster next year. Even though our losses are more bigger than what they were, say, a year ago. But. So then came that to be or not to be moment when in the 5th round, with the 57th overall pick, your Frost takes from Russia, selecting Dara Grenzen, who's netminer, Borusa Krapisask, Russia. I need to ask George, how do you feel about having Russia on the team? Fine. It depends on her views. If she shares views like Britta Lemmy did, then we're going to have a problem. But if she doesn't share those views, fine. I mean, we know there are a few in Ottawa. Did Ottawa draft 2 last year? They did. That's yeah. So yeah, I don't look. Honestly, for obvious reasons, I am not that friendly with Russia. But if Russians are allowed to be eligible to play the draft and they get drafted, then so be it. I mean, Alexander Ovechkin's had, 20 years now at least in the NHL, and no one's bad-eyed about that. Yeah. For me, the problem would be is if the Russian team was allowed to go back into international events. Yeah. That would be when we would have a problem. So we won't. So we will not work that out. But drafting Russian players, I think it's fine. It's fine as long as they then don't bring the league into dispute like we saw Britta Carlson do for what has been 2 seasons now. Outside is going to still do that for as long as she's in this league. Okay, so it's fine. It's fine for me. Because I feel like we really needed to get a backstop to help my route. Because unfortunately, with the Cole Hensley game taken by Las Vegas, we are now in the exact same position that Boston's in and Montreal's in, where you have a really rock solid starting network. That's your girl. You go to night in, night out, and those big moments like the World Cup playoffs. But you then have a backstop who then gets every now and then. And so next season is going to be really new territory for the Frost because, you know, we spent the first 3 seasons of our life being used to a rock solid netmining tandem, and they would both get, unless one was badly injured, they would both get a fair amount of the lion's share. You saw what Kenkley did in the playoffs, you know, in 2024 and 2025, which was a key factor to help us getting those 2 World Cups. You know, so it's going to be brand new territory. So I do think she's going to be the backstop to Maddie Mooney. I think Maddie Mooney's going to get the lion's share, but every now and then Daria will come in and make a coming out of that. Yeah. So I actually feel, despite nationality, I feel it's fine because we need to find somebody. Right. Remember, in the PHL, you have to field at least 3 netminers. Yeah. You have to have 3 netminers on your roster in case something happens to your first 2. Yeah. So you then need to put them in a situation. Now, like we had was it last year that Money Winnie had to be called back because Nicole Hensley got injured? Yeah. Oh, yeah, because it was due when everyone was getting sick. Even George. You do it that time. Yeah, so what about games last season? Maddie Winnie was at home because she was still very ill. But in the warm-up, Nicole Hensley got injured. So that meant that the backup, they had to then start the net, and Maddie Winnie had to be called back from her home to get to Grand Casino in case something was to happen. Yeah. So you need to now. So in the league, you have to have 3 netminers in case something happens like that. Yeah. Yeah. So I do think it was. I do think it would be better to draft a netminer in the draft rather than hold out free agent, because obviously, you know, who's left in free agent on the netminer side. Apart from Julia, I can't think of anyone else right now. Yeah. But yeah. Right now, yeah. I think she's the big name as a netminer, and I don't know what's going to happen. She might stay in TO, she might go as well. I mean, we know New York needs to have a rock solid netminer after letting Kate Osborne go on a silver platter to Hamilton. I don't know. I do like the fact that we did do that, because I kind of felt, you know, we got to round 5, and you're kind of thinking, well, after this, there's only got 1 more pick to make, so if we don't do it now, we're going to have to do it in round 6. And, yeah, and it was the big question for me, was hanging over our heads all night, was, are we going to draft no netminder, yes or no? And the answer was yes, and I was really pleased. Because I didn't want to go into free agency and spend the whole summer worrying who we're going to get to backstop Maddie Mooney. I didn't want to worry about. Well, we don't have to now. We have to, because we've now got that sorted. Lady, any thoughts? I do agree with my partner. I think it was the right move to go into the draft and go look at who's available. And think, right, this could be a good asset of the team. And it doesn't mean we don't have to worry about in free agency, will we not get a good backstop, because we should just focus on re-signing the players that we need to re-sign. Okay. Now in the final round, so round 6, and this was with the This was with the 69th overall pick. We selected Laura Becker, she's a forward, Clarkson University. She's a Buffalo native. Yeah, she's a Buffalo native. So, if we ever get Buffalo Fox to take her at all, who knows? What do you think? Was it a good pick to run off? Yeah, I think it was a good pick to run off. You know, you drafted really well. I think she could really be good on the, I think she should have got ice time, so I'm quite pleased. Yeah, it's kind of a good pick, so I'd rather not off. Yeah. Okay, so all in all, I think we did really well. I think apart from obviously and here's the irony, the only draft we've had problems with that we've complained about when it comes to our frost was in the year we actually hosted the damn thing. But that was because obviously it was only 4 days after the Natalie Dartwitz incident. Ken Clean comes in as acting GM and takes Britta. But apart from that, we've actually not had bad things about any of our other draft picks, and they actually have gone through quite well. So I feel with the Frost, I think they did really well. And I'll tell you who also did well, San Jose. Oh yes, San Jose. San Jose did amazingly well. Now, obviously me going into the draft, I was very worried about how San Jose was going to do. Because throughout the expansion process, Troy Wyatt had not really done as well as the other GMs. So, Dominic D for Vegas, Manon Rion for Detroit, and Megan Duggan for Hamilton. Those three had done really well in the expansion process, managed to get some really big names. San Jose, it's more about development level, more grassroots is what they're going for. Like, and throughout each phase, I was kind of waiting for San Jose to make this big splash, and they didn't do it. And yet, Troy Ryan goes to the draft, he goes to Detroit in his first round, takes their Edwards, that's your big splash, and it just felt, as the night was progressing, it was like the picks were coming in, it's like, this is really good. So, I think we might now need to rethink San Jose. Because, obviously we've still got free agency to come, and there could be some moves there. But I think the worries and fears we have about San Jose not being competitive in year one, going into the draft, I think might now go away, because they've done really well in their draft, and with their draft class, and if that can gel in their first year, then they did really well. They also did well Las Vegas. Well, we'll do that. We'll do the outro. We'll do the outro. No, but San Jose just did so well. So actually, I think, do we all need to owe Troy Ryan a massive apology? You do. You do. Well, he's not getting it yet, because I'm still not convinced a dual role is going to work, the PHL. So I think we need to wait until we've had the first half of next season to know or not. But if he proves us all wrong, I will do it. I'll do it on the shoulder and on our attraction and all that. Okay, so that is a roundup of how the Minnesota Frost drafted in the 2026 PHL Entry Draft. We're going to take one far break, and we'll come back, we're going to round off. Alright then, before we go, this is your chance to basically go through who you think are the winners and losers before we sign off. Lady, I think you would come on back, Vegas. Yeah, I kind of thought, if we look at the 4 expansion teams, so Detroit, Hamilton, Las Vegas, San Jose, I kind of thought both Las Vegas and San Jose were the winners. Wow. I thought they were the winners. Now you could argue at Las Vegas, and they had 3 picks within the first 15. So obviously they traded with Vancouver, traded with Detroit, and still had their original first round pick. Yep. Yeah, because pick 3 they got from Detroit the trade, pick 30 they got from Vancouver the trade, and they still had their 5th overall pick. So so not even halfway through the second round, Vegas already had 3 top picks locked in the bank, right there. Right there. They could basically just put down their hold ship. They don't need to make any more moves. That's everything about poker, you know. I have over the years watched various family members play poker, and all I can remember about poker is there's chips, there's a card, and there's a hold'em card chip. So that's all I know. Yeah. When I was young, on various staycations in the UK, my family would play poker, and I would just sit there, literally going, I had no idea. Because for me, when I was a young kid, the only card games I was a master at was Uno. And that's showing my age! That's showing my age! That is showing my age right there. yeah, I agree. I think Las Vegas, as I both did really well. Of the current teams, who do we think did well? Do we think New York again? But can they get over the line though? That's the question, because this is like what, the third year in a row now that New York has drafted well, but they still can't always get over the line. And given how they've not got a big star net mine anymore, you think, yeah, I do still think they did draft really well. And of course I've got to say Vancouver. Of course you're going to say Vancouver, they took KK! You got proven right! I'll just repeat, I know we're silent, but I'll just repeat what George said at the start of the show. We are never going to hear the end of this. No. We are never going to hear the end of this one being so smug that he got it right. You know what that means for 2027, lady? Oh no, you've got to make a pick. Oh no, because I made a guess in 2025 and got it wrong. That's because I didn't see what New York were going to do in the first round last year. I got it wrong. Well, you did pick a top 3 candidate, George. Yeah, but just in the wrong order. I got Haley Wynn right. I knew she was going second, but that's a half a point, but not really count. He's smug as fuck. So that just leaves Lady. I'll just let you. No, I'm going to stay smart and say nothing till draft day. You boys can muck about if you want. Yeah. So, who are the losers? Who are the losers? It's hard to tell, isn't it? Yeah. Hard to tell. Not sure how well Boston drafted. Not sure how well Ottawa drafted. And Ottawa really needs to make the most of it. I don't know if Seattle made the most of it. And Seattle, yeah. I mean, Seattle had the most to really gain. I mean, Seattle really needs to make the most of it because they lost so much. Yeah. I don't know. It's so hard to tell, especially that we've got 12 teams coming in now. You know, everyone's still trying to, reel from expansion and what that did. So we just have to wait and see. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the problem with the PHL is that you can come away from a draft and you kind of thought this particular team has done the most, and then you get into the regular season and it just completely changes. You know, I mean, because obviously, you know, this time last year we all felt New York were the clear winners. I mean, they made the most draft picks out of everybody in that draft last year in Ottawa. We kind of felt, okay, is this now your moment, Greg Fargo, to get the team to the playoffs? And they fell short again. Again, they fall short, and they fall short by quite a margin. So, and in contrast, you look at a team like Vancouver, who on paper this past season was expected to get to the finals. Well, they were even George's pick. Yeah. Never mind, it's not the Frost I wanted it to be them pick. And I think it is still going to be Vancouver because of how they drafted, but also because of how little they lost in expansion. So, if I don't see Vancouver in that playoff field next year, I'm gonna have a hissy fit. Never mind Carl Gardemore, the GM. Yeah, so it's just, it's interesting. It's interesting, because we could sit here, you know, for hours on end, and try and say, this is who we thought did the best in the draft, here's who we did not think did well in the draft. But it's all going to depend on how we get to November, and we see this league in action again, and there you go, that is it. That concludes your draft recap. Another one in the books. Another one in the books. I have to say, despite the fact when it was announced we were going to Detroit, I did thought it just reeked of favoritism, because at that point Hamilton Las Vegas Saturday were not announced yet. But I have to say, I thought Detroit were wonderful hosts. You felt the energy there. You could tell Detroit is ready. So it's going to be so exciting we get to see what they're going to do come to the fall. But anyway, thank you to what was a wonderful, wonderful night. That's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for as always. Till next time, take care, guys. Don't get all the free.